What's up, everybody? I'm Phil.
And I'm Jessie. Welcome to our show, Making Our Roots. For this new series, we've teamed up with Ace Hardware to share with you our stories about Alaska, how we home garden, and how we make garden-to-table dishes in our kitchen.
Jessie and I will be covering all the basics of home gardening, like what to plant, what tools to use, how to use them. But what we really hope you take away from this series is why we home garden. So Jessie and I together, we've always done a lot of adventures. So before we got married, we decided to do one last big adventure with a purpose. So Jessie and I were offered a job in Homer, Alaska to be stewards on a 5-acre vegetable garden. Coming from the city of Chicago to go all the way to Alaska, we gotta do it.
Yeah, we'd always dreamed of farming and to be closer to nature, and so we decided to take this big leap. Even though we had to leave friends and family for 6 months, we thought, yeah, this is an opportunity we have to take. And live in a yurt that was 16 feet in circumference and didn't really have electricity.
No running water, no electricity. One 200-foot extension cord for us to charge our phones. That was it. To stay warm in Alaska, which is needed, we had to keep the wood-burning stove going all the time. To cook any meal, wood-burning stove. So we were constantly challenging ourselves just to do day-to-day tasks. One of the things we were expecting to gain from our trip in Alaska was how to be more conscious of what we were putting in our bodies and truly understand all of the hard work that goes into growing vegetables. And not only learning all of those there, but being able to take them back here to the city of Chicago.
And to be able to teach those lessons to our friends and family.
Living in Alaska definitely had its challenges, and we realized that the most just in our day-to-day tasks. Every morning I'd wake up, 6:30, start chopping wood for us to be warm.
Then we'd head to our job on the farm and work a 9-hour day where we would start with feeding chickens and usually end with harvesting.
Yeah, and that's not where the challenges stopped, because once we were home from our job on the farm, it would be straight back to cutting wood and getting the fire going.
It was really different cooking in the yurt. I love to cook, but every once in a while it took a little of the joy out, I have to say, because you're heating up a fire that is now burning us out of the yurt just to get water boiling. If you're not familiar with what a yurt is, the yurt is a 16-foot, basically tent. It's on a wooden platform with vinyl walls. We only had one electric outlet. We had to bring in our own water. We had 25 gallons a week that we used.
You don't know how much water you actually use until you know you've only got 25 gallons of it. And and it didn't end when you put your head down to go to sleep, because maybe at 2 in the morning you got 2 or 3 moose, and hoping it's not a bear running across the tent.
But they're majestic, and we miss the moose.
I miss the moose.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the outhouse?
I don't miss the outhouse.
We don't miss the outhouse. While in Alaska, we were having a slight disconnect from technology. Well, no Wi-Fi, a very spotty reception.
It was kind of nice, actually, being disconnected. It allowed us to branch out, make friends, create a community.
My biggest piece of advice for someone who wants to start gardening is to start. As long as you have access to sunlight, you have what you need to get going.
And learn as you go. Let it be a part of your lifestyle. As soon as you start, you'll taste the difference in your food.
You'll feel the difference.
Absolutely, and you'll just enjoy being out there gardening with your family, and you'll never want to give it up.
I didn't have much in Alaska, but I did have my cucumbers. I had my English cucumbers, my Japanese cucumbers. I grew them up 10 feet, drape them over, came on down another 2-3 feet. Felt like a baseball bat.
They're beautiful and tasted so good.
Oh, the taste. Jessie and I hope that our story inspires you to start your own home garden. Because not only are you creating a healthier lifestyle for yourself, but you're also creating a place for you and your family to spend time together.
And you'll get to watch your garden become the center of your community. And most importantly, by caring for the soil, you're giving back to Mother Earth. I think being in Alaska with you made it that much more special. I mean, having the person I love there to share these experiences with was just the best. Yeah, you kept me warm.
And you kept me fed.
Speaking of,
I know what that means. So if you do decide to do this home garden, you will be able to have the opportunity of learning something new, getting your hands dirty, and like Jessie today is still using vegetables in a meal that we'll have today that was harvested last year.
Today I'll be making a charred tomato bruschetta with my favorite ricotta cheese. For this recipe, I'll be using jarred tomatoes that we harvested last season in Alaska. And one of the favorite things for me with gardening is being able to preserve and can your veggies so they last you throughout the winter. For this recipe, you'll need jarred or fresh tomatoes, a French baguette, ricotta cheese, fresh basil, garlic, salt, pepper, and olive oil. It's the Italian flag. I have my bread toasted. I just put it in the oven for about 10 minutes, and my jarred tomatoes are on the stove warming up. I just basically put the jar of tomatoes right into the pan, added some salt to make sure that those flavors came back out.
So Jessie and I were very lucky to have the experience we did. But what we want you to understand is that you don't have to go all the way to Alaska to start a lifestyle like this.
No, we hope this series inspires people to start home gardening on their own.
Yeah, when we first came across these tomatoes, they were a seed this big, and now today they're on our plate.
Yeah, and you can't get delicious tomatoes like this unless you grow them in your own backyard.
You can't.